So the waiting game continues still for anything Spider-Man related. It's a waiting game, but at the same time it's not, because we keep getting more and more details whether Sony wants us to get them or not. Well, Sony finally unveiled the first official poster for Spider-Man No Way Home, and I'm going to have the dissenting opinion here. I think the poster looks terrible. Like, here's what the poster looks like. I think it looks like crap. Honestly, like, I get what they're going for, but it's so busy and cluttered. Like, from an aesthetic standpoint, to me, a good poster is something like, I don't want to say you put it on your wall, but a good poster is a piece of art. The heck is this? It's a cluster. Like, I get what they're going for, and everyone's freaking out, like, oh, if you look in the background, you can see Green Goblin. If I see another person go, I'm so clever, I saw Green Goblin in the background, I'm going, do you have eyes? You can see the Goblin here. Yes, okay. We already kind of figured Goblin was back.
Like that.
The first teaser trailer had the pumpkin bomb. We knew he was going to be in this. But, I don't know. This poster looks kind of messy to me. Like, cool. We get references to Electro and Sandman. But we got references to Electro and Sandman in the first teaser trailer. Like, this poster doesn't introduce any new elements. And yet again, a few hours before we recorded this, Sony released a quote-unquote new picture from Spider-Man No Way Home. Guess what it was? It was yet another still frame from the bridge fight. I'm going, good Lord, does this entire movie take place on the bridge and it's just Spider-Man fighting Doc Ock for 2 hours and 45 minutes? Like, I don't understand the marketing campaign for this movie. I truly do not. Like, is it just Sony sitting back and going, all right, they could just talk about it for another week. The Twitter and online discourse is basically doing our marketing for us. But like, I don't get it.
Dude, it's
like,
not. Oh, I hate. I'm glad I'm not on Twitter. Just so
I'm glad you're not on Twitter.
Dude,
we would not have a show if Josh was on Twitter.
No, that is. I mean, it might. Yeah, no, that's true.
Knowing Josh, he'd get in Twitter fights and never actually work.
Yeah, absolutely. So here's the other thing. I feel like this is like the kind of poster that you put up in the movie theater on the wall that you know, when you're going to your movie and you pass and you go, oh, hey, yeah, I'm excited for that movie, and then keep walking and, like, don't actually have to pay attention to, because there's so much going on. Like, if you sat there and looked at it, it would just, like, it gets more and more bad the more you look. I don't know. It just, the more I look at it, the more, like, it just seems so basic and seems like it's fan-made and seems, it just...
No, there's better fan-made posters out there.
I know, and which is crazy that in today's day and age, you could be like, man, it looks fan-made, but, like, how many times... Okay, I mean, I guess I can't say how many times have I been gotten by fan-made trailers and stuff like that, but still, because, oh, geez, but I just, yeah, it's just
You've gotten done with fan-made stuff for this very movie.
Yeah, I got. I get rickrolled all the time, man. It's not fair. But it just means I'm excited about the things that I'm watching. That's all that matters, right? This. I think I said this last time we talked about No Way Home. I'm just ready for this movie to be out, so we can be done with, so we can see it, and we can just move on, because it feels like there's too much surrounding this movie that is not, like, positive stuff as far as excitement and draw. Like, something Sony seems to not realize is just because people are talking about your film doesn't necessarily mean it's good marketing.
Well, I mean, they're at least discussing it, and it's not like, as much as I'm looking forward to it, I'm not hearing anybody talk about Ghostbusters Afterlife. And that comes out next week, type of thing. Like,
that's fair. I'm super excited.
I'm ready for that movie too. But yeah, this marketing campaign is just so bizarre. It's, I don't know. You say people talking about it isn't always the best, but it's like the opposite of, as much as we're not the biggest fan of the Snyderverse, release the Snyder Cut was people talking and getting hype for it, and basically was a self-made marketing machine because Zack Snyder is also terrible at promoting his movies. Here, look at all these cool shots before the trailer comes out, and it would have been cool to see them in the trailer instead. This is almost the exact opposite. If people are talking about it, but there's not stuff to back it up. We keep seeing the same pictures from the same scene of the bridge fight, and it's kind of making me go, okay, Tobey and Andrew are going to be in this for the final fight.
Yeah.
Like, I think Kevin Feige's gone on record for months now saying, yeah, fan theories are great, but they can sometimes backfire when your expectations get a little too high. So maybe he's like prepping us for disappointment, or because he saw how crazy and out of hand fan theories could get with WandaVision, because that really, I think, burned Disney bad, going, oh yeah, we're going to tease all this stuff, because whether Disney wants to admit it or not, they absolutely teed some stuff up. Now, some stuff with WandaVision was absolutely fans just kind of going out on a limb. I'll be the first to admit, I was kind of hoping for Professor X to show up, but even then, I fully acknowledge that that would be a long shot. But other elements, like purposely rickrolling your audience by bringing back Evan Peters as Quicksilver, you purposely just kind of trolled your audience there and set the expectation too high. Maybe they're trying not to make that same mistake here and not overshowing their hand with Tobey and Andrew, or Venom maybe, by not showing them. They're keeping the focus on Spider-Man, which at the end of the day I think is a good thing, but this poster just is not it. It's too busy and cluttered. Then again, Sony's known for not having the best posters with Tom Holland's Spider-Man, because even Josh, who's not the biggest Tobey Maguire Spider-Man fan, those were some awesome posters back in the day. Like the one, Spider-Man 1, where he's climbing up the wall. It's just that first shot of him climbing up the wall with the sunset look, or the iconic Spider-Man 2 poster where there's two that always come to mind. It's the close-up of Spider-Man when he's swinging with Mary Jane, or one of my favorite posters of all time for Spider-Man 2 is Doc Ock with his back turned and it's just silhouette form and you see the tentacles. I'm like, oh, that's awesome. I don't mind the Spider-Man Homecoming poster where he's just laying and asleep with Avengers Tower in the background. That looks cool. Far From Home had some terrible posters, like that terrible looking passport one. So I don't know. I just think this is a lousy poster and people are freaking out because they're like, oh, Green Goblin confirmed. I'm like, that's nothing new here.
Yeah.
Like I don't know with this movie right now.
Yeah, I'm just ready for it to be over. I mean, like, crap, even like Andrew Garfield's Spider-Man movies had pretty decent posters.
Yeah,
I mean,
well,
like,
except for that one Amazing Spider-Man 2 poster with everyone on it.
We don't talk about Amazing Spider-Man 2. But yeah, it's just too busy and there's just too much going on.
Okay, also, because we're talking about Spider-Man, now is probably the best chance for me to tell my new theory that I came up with that I've told you and I told Heather, and neither of you like it because it sounds too real.
Yeah.
So, we know the premise of this movie will be Tom Holland goes to Doctor Strange and it's basically like, hey, can you wipe everyone's memory so they don't know that I'm Spider-Man? And obviously it looks like the spell's going to go wrong and the multiverse is going to open up. My theory is Sony and Marvel never officially extended their contract. So until that happens, I will always live in fear that someday Tom Holland Spider-Man will leave the MCU. And I'm not entirely convinced that this isn't the movie to do it. So at the end of this movie, what I could definitely see happening is them going, Doctor Strange going, okay, we'll do the spell again, but there's a condition. For this universe will forget you were ever Spider-Man. Your friends and family, they'll be safe. They'll no longer be in harm because they will have no memory of Spider-Man. But the catch is, you can no longer be a part of this universe. We can put you somewhere else, but you can no longer be a part of this universe. No one will remember you, but your family will be safe. And I think that's an easy way for the MCU to never have to address Spider-Man again, to be like, all right, cool. He had his little window here, and if he ever were to return, the only person that would remember him is Doctor Strange, and Doctor Strange could obviously work some stuff, but I don't want to say it'd be like Men in Black with the neuralizer at the end for the entire MCU for getting Spider-Man, but if he might not be coming back to the MCU, it's a little too convenient to me, I think.
Yeah, I'm kind of with you there, but it's kind of sucks. Also, but like what would be super interesting is because technically all the stuff, all the science that made Peter would still exist. So there's the possibility of them making a Spider-Man in the MCU.
Well, Tony's dead though.
You know,
Tony's dead though.
but Oscorp is still around. Would still technically be.
But
around,
Oscorp has never
right?
been mentioned in the MCU.
Interesting. Okay. Well, hey, that's an avenue they could go down then.
Mm.
They've left that open. I guess. I don't know.